All right, fourth graders, please open up your book to page 857. Today we're going to work on converting metric units of length using the metric system. So if you would, open up to page 857. If you remember last time we worked with measuring with that ruler in centimeters and meters, and looking at the millimeters, there were 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter. Today we're going to work within that metric system, again converting lengths. So the metric system is a decimal system of measurement. To convert metric length units, multiply or divide by powers of 10. So the metric system is a little bit more simple with converting because we're always either going to be multiplying by 10, 100, 1000, or dividing by 10, 100, or 1000. So we have our metric system lengths on our yellow sheet. It would also be here at the bottom of page 857. And you'll notice it says 1 centimeter equals 10 millimeters. 1 meter is equal to 10 centimeters or 1,000 millimeters. And 1 kilometer or 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. So if we try and get an idea of what these are, 1 millimeter is the thickness of a dime. If you take a dime and hold it between your fingers, the thickness of that would be 1 millimeter. A centimeter is the width of your pinky finger. So your pinky finger across is 1 centimeter, approximately. A meter is the height of a doorknob. So if you think from the floor where a door is, the floor up to the doorknob, that would be 1 meter. And a kilometer is about 6 city blocks. So a kilometer is less than a mile. Mile would be the standard measurement system. A kilometer is less than that. So again, we're going to be using our chart. And here for our chart, you'll want to get this out and you'll want to add on metric length. And we use the same process, smaller unit to a larger unit, we're going to divide. Larger unit to a smaller unit, we're going to multiply. So our smallest unit here would be millimeter, and that is abbreviated mm. We go from millimeter to centimeter. Centa always means 100. Our abbreviation is cm. Then we're going to go to meter. Our meter abbreviation is M, and we're going to go to kilometer. Is our biggest. A kilometer is km. So millimeter to centimeter to meter to kilometer. Kilo always means 1,000. Those are some of those prefixes we had been talking about. Centa means 100. Milla we think of when we think of million, okay, but it actually is another way of saying thousand as well. Okay, so let's take a look. It says one of the largest recorded pythons measures 7 3/10 meters long. What is the length of the python in centimeters? So we're going to convert 7 3/10 meters to centimeters. And it says since 1 meter equals 100 centimeters, we need to multiply 7 3/10 by 100s. So we're going by 100s. We're going centimeters to meters. If we look on here, centimeters to meters. If we're going smaller to larger, I'm sorry, we're going meters to centimeters. Meters back to centimeters, so larger back to a smaller, so we're multiplying. 100 times 7 3/10. Now, we could do this with turtle head math, okay? We could also change it like this and multiply, and we know when we see 2 zeros, those are going to go on the end of our answer. We can annex them. If we have 7.3 or 73 times 1, that's just 73, and then we tack on the 2 zeros. But because we have a decimal point, we have one number after our decimal place in our problem, we need one number to come after a decimal place in our answer. So we're going to take the decimal that would be at the end of the answer and shift it back that one spot. So now we're at 730, and we could really leave off the decimal point in the last zero then. So 100 times 73 is 730. 30. Okay. It says to multiply by 10, 100, or 1,000, use basic facts and count the number of zeros in the factors. So 7 3/10 meters is 730 centimeters. So a python is 730 centimeters long. Okay, let's look at the next page. On the next page, we have, it says Roshanda has 50 dominoes. Each domino is 4 centimeters long. She lines them up end to end as shown. How many meters is the line of dominoes? So we have 4 centimeters, 4 centimeters, and 4 centimeters. So it says find the length in centimeters. So she has 50 of these all together. So this pattern keeps going. And each of them is 4. Okay, so we're going to take 50 times 4 to find the total number of centimeters. Well, 50 times 4, 4 times 0 is 0, 4 times 5 is 20. So it would be 200 centimeters. Now, this is a two-step problem. We're going to take the 200 centimeters and convert it to meters. So, since 1 meter, if we look at our chart, 1 meter is 100 centimeters. Now we are going meters is what we want to end up with. So we're going to take the centimeters to meters is what we're going to do. Now, if I look at our chart, centimeters to meters, small to large, I'm going to divide. So we have to take the 200 that we have and divide it by 100. So 200 divided by 100. Now, that would be like this. 200 divided by 100. Okay. I would say how many 100s fit into that 200? Well, if I count by hundreds, 100, 200, it's 2. Okay. So, one other thing I can do with this, because we have powers of 10, I can take 200 divided by 100. And remember, if the numbers end in zeros, you can cancel them out. So these 2 zeros cancel each other out. These 2 zeros can cancel each other out. And now I'm left with 2 divided by 1, which is just 2. Okay, so 200 centimeters is equal to 2 meters. So that line of dominoes is 2 meters long. Okay, if we look down at the bottom, we have 5 meters to centimeters. Okay, now we're going opposite of what we did here. So this time we're going to go meters to centimeters, large to small. I'm going to multiply. So I have 100 centimeters is 1 meter. So the 100 is what I'm going to work with. I'm starting with the 5. I take 5 times 100, or I could flip it and do 100 times 5. 100 times 5 is 500. So 5 meters equals 500 centimeters. Look at the next one. 9,000 meters we're going to convert to kilometers. So meters to kilometers, large, small to large, I'm going to divide. They tell us that. And I need to know that there's 1,000 kilometers, 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer. So now what do I divide by? I found that conversion. I take what they start with, 9,000, and I divide it by 1,000. So 9,000 divided by 1,000. Okay, so 9,000 divided by 1,000 would look like that. I could also write it as a fraction. 9,000 divided by 1,000, and I have zeros that cancel. The end here and here, I have 3 zeros. So now I have 9 divided by 1. And 9 divided by 1 is equal to 9. So 9,000 meters equals 9 kilometers. Okay, let's look on the next page. Once we get our conversions down, it's going to be fairly easy to solve these. Okay, so 700 centimeters to meters. Well, what's my relationship between centimeters and meters? 1 meter is 100 centimeters. Okay, so if I'm going to go little to big, small to large, I'm going to divide. So I take 700 divided by 100. Well, I have a 0 on the each end of each and another 0, so those can cancel out. That leaves me with 7 divided by 1, which is 7. So 700 centimeters is 7 meters. Let's look at the next one. 8,500 millimeters to meters. Ooh, little to big. So I'm going to divide. Now, what's my relationship between millimeters and meters? Well, 1 meter is 1,000 millimeters. So I'm going to take my starting number, 8,500, and I'm going to divide it by 1,000. Now, let's take a look here. Okay, I can cancel out some zeros. Let's see here. 1 on the end here, 1 on the end here, another here, and another here. Oop, but I can't cancel out that one because there's not one to match. So now I'm left with 85 divided by 10. Okay, if you're not sure what this is, then we have to do the long division. 85 divided by 10. Well, how many 10s go into 85? I can get 8. Okay, none go into 8, but 8 go into 85. Multiply. Sister subtracts. 85 take away 80 is 5. There's nothing for brother to bring down, but when I want a decimal as an answer, I put my decimal on and add a 0. My decimal will go straight up in my answer, and then I can bring down the 0 and repeat. Now, 10 goes into 50, or 10, yep, into 50, I can do 5 times. 5 times 10 is 50, subtract, and there's 0 left. So my answer, 8,500 millimeters, is equal to 8 5/10 meters. Okay, let's look at the next one. 15 kilometers to meters. Well, we know there's 1,000 kilometers in 1 meter. And if I'm going from a large unit to a smaller, I multiply. So I'm going to take 15 times 1,000. And that will give me 15,000. Okay. Okay, large to small. Here we're going to go small to large. Again, I use that 1,000. Oops, sorry, you guys need to catch me on this. That was km. And there, 1,000 meters equals 1 kilometer. Okay, and instead of multiplying small to larger, I divide. So I'm going to take 73,000 and divide by 1,000. Here I can cancel a 0. Oh, I can cancel all 3. And now I have 73 divided by 1 is equal to 73. Okay. Let's take a look at some of them on the bottom here. Maybe we should go millimeters to centimeters here. Let's look at number 9. Millimeters to centimeter. There are 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter. So 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter. If I'm going to go millimeters to centimeters, large or small to large, I'm going to divide. Okay, small to large, I divide. So I have 17 5/10 to start, and I'm going to divide that by 10. Now, there's no zeros to cancel, so let's do some division. Like this. And divide. Okay. 10 goes into 1 0 times. 10 goes into 17 1 time. 1 times 10 is 10. 17 take away 10 is 7. Bring down the 5. Repeat. 10 goes into 75. 7. 7 times 10 is 70. I have 5 left. Add another 0 on and bring down. Now I can repeat again. 10 goes into 55 times. When there's a decimal in a division problem, your decimal comes straight up into your answer. So my answer is 1 75/100. When you divide by 10, your decimal shifts to the left 1 place, or 1 0. Okay, to the left 1 0 when you divide. You want to make that number smaller. Okay, if you're multiplying by numbers with zeros, you're going to take that decimal and shift it to the right. So 15, here's the imaginary decimal. We would shift it to the right and fill in with zeros there. And here's my new decimal point. This will turn into a comma, and that gave me that 15,000. Okay, let's look down at the bottom of the page at some of our comparisons. We have centimeters compared to millimeters. What's bigger, 30 centimeters or 300 millimeters? Well, if I take a look at it, let's see here, centimeters to millimeters. Centimeters to millimeters, I could multiply. So let's go centimeters to millimeters. 10 millimeters equals 1 centimeter. If I want to compare and turn that centimeters into millimeters, let's go 30 times 10. Okay, I have 3 times 1 is 3, and I can tack on 2 zeros. So 30 centimeters is really 300 millimeters. What's bigger, 300 or 300? They're equal. Okay, how about here? Let's go and let's look at kilometers to meters. There are 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer. So let's decide which side should we change. Kilometers and meters. I always like to multiply, so I'm going to change my kilometers into meters because then I can multiply. So I was at 4 8/10, and I multiply by 1,000. I know 48 times 1 is 48. Tack on the 3 zeros, but I have one number after my decimal in my problem, which means I have to have that one number after a decimal in my answer. So this turns into 4800 meters. So are greater than, less than, equal to? This would be equal to as well. Okay. Let's look here, 25 millimeters or 3 centimeters. Well, there's 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter. So, millimeters to centimeters or centimeters to millimeters? I like to go centimeters to millimeters so I can multiply. So let's take 3 times 10, and that gets me 30. 30 millimeters. What's bigger, 25 or 30? 30. Okay. What I'd like you to do is I want you to pick one of them. 14, 15, or 16. Show me your answer. Show me your work, and then you can move on with workshop.